I wanted to tell you why I started the Powerhouse and why it's so incredibly important to me to spread this message, to create this movement, to wage this war, because truly it's become like this all-consuming thing for me. The Powerhouse comes from some of my darkest moments in my life, and really it was quite recently. I have spent the last 25 years, well, really all my life, I've been someone who has dreamed big, wanted to do something amazing, wanted to be something more, wanted to prove myself. I absolutely poured all my valuation as an individual and person into what I did with my life and who I became. And what happened was that heavy driving force on my professional side, trying to meld with my personal side that had its own wants and needs, from my relationships, my family, my marriage, just for me to be happy. It created this tearing, this push-pull, because my professional side never quite melded with my personal side, and I could just never be whole. And it created these constant problems. Like in my personal side, it affected my marriage, it affected friendships. I couldn't maintain or grow friendships. I just couldn't connect with people. Same thing with even my children, to be present and be connected in those moments, because my mind was always feeling like I needed to be working. I was wasting time if I wasn't working and driving forward. And on the professional side, it caused me to dive really deep into this workaholic hustle culture that was so rampant, and thank goodness it's kind of dying off, and we're trying to do our best to also whittle away at that. But I felt this immense shame and guilt when I was at work, because I felt like I was sacrificing so much on the home front. I was being a terrible mom, a terrible wife, but then in the same sense, industry, culture, just my inner voice was telling me that I was weak to care about those things, that if I truly wanted professional success, I needed to set those things aside. I could not devote energy and time to happy, to content, to family, to those things. If I did that, then I would never reach professional success. So it just was like this inner war all the time. And the problem was that I was so far down that path that to make myself feel better, when I was teaching and speaking, and I loved doing that, I helped people build their businesses and their crafts, and I truly loved doing that. Obviously, that carries over to the Powerhouse, but I thought that the best way, or the only way to tell people to get what they wanted, was to do what I was doing, to sacrifice it all, to just bear down and work harder. You're not reaching your goals, well, then you're not working hard enough. Never pausing to reevaluate the whys or the purpose, or is this even the path that you want to be on? Because guess what? That would have to be me admitting that I was on the wrong path. And my ego was not willing to do that. I was not willing to self-reflect, even to listen to people close to me waving little flags of like, hey, you're kind of losing yourself. That was non-existent. It took the universe breaking me, both personally and professionally, to snap me out of it. It was so hard. At that moment, I call it my black hole. I just felt like it was gone. Everything was done. I suffered a professional blow that I didn't see coming, and that broke me. It defeated me in a way that I just felt like I lost my fight, because it was the first indicator of why was I doing the things that I was doing. It was the first forced pause of, ooh, yeah, this wasn't good. You haven't been good for a while. What do you want? Do you even know that? Do you even know who you are? It was scary. And then closely after that, I suffered a personal wake-up call. Not equally. It was way harder because it meant so much more, but it was equally resetting because it reinforced and didn't let me go back into my old ways. You know, that professional one was just soft enough that I was like, okay, maybe if I make some small changes, I can keep going. But the professional reset or the personal reset, that was like a stop of like, nope. If you want any chance to save your marriage, your family, your sanity, you have got to change the game. And that started this huge journey of reset. I entered that black hole and I call it the black hole because one of the hardest questions that my therapist asked me was, well, besides work and who you are as a professional, who is Casey? Who are you? How do you define yourself? I had nothing. Nothing. I could not come up with anything else of who I am, what I'm about, outside of work. I mean, yes, wife, mother. But on an individual basis, what's going on there? And it took me a long while, to start to, I call it like the jelly mode. You know how Jello is like really liquidy and then it just starts to kind of firm up. It took a while to start getting to that gelatinous like firming stage because it was such an overwhelming and daunting question, but also so basic that it just was super frustrating that I didn't have any answers for that. And it led me on reflection, learning, listening, all these things, because I went through this phase of anger that I had wasted all these years, like 20 years, going down the wrong path, of losing myself, of not knowing my why, not staying focused on my true north, that I had sacrificed all these things that I kept claiming for the greater good was bullshit. I was using that as an excuse, and I was angry at myself for getting so far off base. And it took time for me to actually step back and glance at all that and say, look, it's not complete loss. You did amazing things. You created these big things. Your family loves you. You built this amazing business. You've had success. Did you get sideways? Yes. But you also learned some really important things along the way. Whether you knew it and saw it at the time, probably not because you kept going. But you have all these skills and all these lessons and all these stories and all these like buyer beware warnings to hopefully help others fight that duality, find a healthier path forward to hopefully prevent the black hole for them. And that got me so excited. It gave me the first starting of purpose, of personal self, of hope. And it was great. And it became like this healing thing that I was going to put on the Powerhouse. And if nobody came, that's okay. It's more for me. I'm going to have this little party. I'm going to bring in the speakers and the topics and the things that I want people to talk about. Nobody's talking about these things. And I know that I feel like I'm on an island right now. And I felt like I've been on an island for 20 years. But I know I'm not the only one who feels these things, who has these battles, these self-doubts, these moments of complete and utter just disrepair that we feel inside. So let's talk about it. Let's build a community around the ugly truth. And that's what this is. To help others understand that they're not alone, that there's a tribe, to get some tools and some mindsets that can help them identify those moments before they get to a terrible place, maybe prevent them, or at least work through them in a healthy way, to have fun. But also, we talk about these big, like heavy things, but what about topics of just, I have big dreams and I want to do this. I don't know how to do that. It's a skill. I don't know how to sit down and elevate my brand. I don't know how to create product lines. I don't know how to create a plan for not just my business, but for my life. I don't know how to do better and be better as a whole. And that's what this is about. It's about all the battles that we have, whether they be just on a simple task how-to level for life and for profession, or just a deeper meaning of, okay, I am on the verge of a reset, or I'm needing to maybe just hit pause on a few things. How can I do that? And how can I lean into the people around me so that I'm stronger when I come out on the other side? That's what this is. So we're starting a movement against that blind hustle mentality, the productive numbing that we all dive into when we're overwhelmed, we're scared, we're lost in ego, we can't bring ourselves to turn around. That's what this is about. Saying, it's okay, don't be ashamed that you went down the wrong path. You've learned something, back it up, try again. You're stronger for that, actually. That there's people in our own community, there are leaders in thought, in innovation, in commerce, that we can lean on to build our businesses, our dreams, bigger and better. And that we can blow off steam and have fun together because we're with like-minded individuals that just get it. And when you know, you know. That's what the Powerhouse is about. That's why it's different than any other professional conference. We're not here to just kumbaya or be like how to do a spreadsheet. That's not what this is. This is how to do life better when you have professional aspirations. That's what the Powerhouse is about. It's different, it's abrasive, it's uncomfortable. Don't you think it's about time for that? I do.